Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Waller's Wallet, and today I'm actually bringing you a collaboration with Tim and Amy, who run the YouTube channel GoWithLess. Now, I actually met Tim and Amy while attending CardCon back in September. And while talking to Tim and Amy, I found their lifestyle and the way they travel to be very fascinating. And that's because they both retired in their 40s by cutting their spending $6,500 per month, and they currently live on $36,000 per year. And in the next 18 months, they're actually going to be selling all of their belongings, and they're going to be traveling the world full time, which I thought to be actually pretty cool. And their channels focus on budget traveling by utilizing house sitting and travel hacking. So if those are topics that interest you, you should definitely check out their channel. So I hope you enjoy this collaboration with Tim and Amy from GoWithLess.
Hey, Dustin, great to see you.
Hey, Tim and Amy, how are you both doing today?
Amazing.
Fabulous.
Good. It's good to see both of you again.
Yeah, same here. So we're going to talk a little bit about travel today. So as one of our very favorite topics, and we know it's one of yours as well.
Oh, I love talking travel. I could talk it all day long.
And we did when we were at CardCon. So it makes
Yes,
sense
we
to
did.
put it online for both of our audiences because we hope that there would be some value for both groups.
Absolutely.
So we thought it'd make some sense to talk about what are some of our recent trips and how you're making those happen with your points and miles. So where are you traveling these days, Dustin?
So this fall has actually been a pretty busy fall for us as far as travel. Earlier in September, we went to Las Vegas with some friends for a long weekend. When we came back a couple weeks later, we went to New York. Then 12 hours later, I hopped back on a plane, head down to Orlando for CardCon, where I met actually both of you. A couple weeks ago, we flew out to Munich and to Paris. We spent 5 days in each location, had to count for a day of travel on each end. Got to see the tail end of Oktoberfest. And when we got to Paris, it was fantastic to see all the different sites, the Notre Dame, the Eiffel Tower, the different palaces out there. Just an absolute stunning city as a whole. Definitely blew away my expectations as far as what the city was going to offer. And then I'll be heading off to Zurich with a buddy of mine in a couple weeks. So I'm excited to explore Switzerland as well.
Was that your first time to Paris or to Munich?
It is. So we typically don't travel to the same location twice. But no, it was our first time both to Munich and to Paris. I actually was very impressed with Paris as a whole. I know my wife loved it as well.
France is actually one of my favorite countries. I don't know that, Tim, would you say the same?
I do love France. And so I think I used to have this opinion of France that it's very expensive and somewhat unaffordable. We were there this summer for almost
5
a month.
weeks.
And so
more than a month, 5 weeks.
More than a month. And so it's really an amazing place and very affordable, as we found out.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Paris is more affordable than Munich, and that kind of shocked me because I thought Paris was going to be far more expensive.
And we were just in Munich in June, and I've been to Paris 4 times. Actually, my Facebook feed is popping up that we were there exactly a year ago this month, and we loved Munich ourselves. That was our first trip to Munich in June and to Germany.
We've also been to Vegas. We were there in August this year, and so we're going to go to New York City also before the end of the year.
Great. And I love New York City. I could live there. It's just a fantastic place to be.
That's our next trip.
Yeah, exactly right. So one of our challenges of New York is it is not very affordable. However, we've found a way to be there for virtually free, at least from a lodging standpoint. We're going to do some house sitting there, so that's going to make it very affordable for us.
And here's the best part: we're just house sitting one cat.
Yeah.
One cat. Oh, I love cats. I have 2 cats myself. I would house sit a house full of cats if I could.
We love cats. We love dogs.
Yeah. Cats are very low maintenance. Dogs require a little bit more attention than a cat.
Yes, they do.
Great for a pet sitting.
Yeah. So when we talk about house sitting, we don't charge anything for that. So we travel to kind of cool places and we don't charge them anything. They don't charge us anything, but we get to stay in places that we might visit and pay for a hotel or for an Airbnb.
So I guess from a standpoint of house sitting, how does that, what are your typical responsibilities when it comes to house sitting as opposed to, my Airbnb, I pay a cleaning service and I come and go as I please. So do you have certain responsibilities that you agree to?
We do. And actually, so it depends upon the property. So we've been in huge homes with a cat and a dog and a horse. But we've had a huge house. So that's a lot of responsibility to have a 10,000 square foot house. We turn it over. We say that we'll turn it over cleaner than we got it. Most of the time, the housekeeper just left. So we're trying to keep it cleaner than the housekeeper, which is really hard to do. But we're
Absolutely.
Really good at that. And so clearly that's a lot of responsibilities to keep it clean like that. But we're taking care of all the pets and keeping the routine with the pets as if their owner was there. So we're kind of careful that we're not taking house sits. We're not taking them on if the owner is someone who's like at home constantly with their pet 24 hours a day. that wouldn't make sense for us. So we try to find a happy medium where we can go out for, I don't know, 4 to 8 hours a day and be, like, again, we're not abandoning the pet in any way. We're staying home every night, but we're taking out the trash. We're bringing in the mail. Tim, we actually did a whole video on house sitting chores. He's trimming hedges and doing the lawn, like mowing the lawn. So that's kind of a lot. But when we were there for a month in a beautiful situation, it was actually kind of nice. And plus, it wasn't me who did it.
It's worth the effort for sure, but it's not a vacation. And so that's something when we talk about house sitting, we usually say that. So it's not like you're in an Airbnb, but the thing we like about it, so we like slower travel. And the thing that's nice about this is it allows you to travel more slowly, and you're living like a local. So it's not like you're there and you're just on vacation. So
right.
We like
style
that.
of travel.
Oh, that's a great aspect of travel as a whole, being able to kind of live like a local as opposed to staying in your little cookie cutter hotel room and being really away from really how locals live. So that's a great aspect.
I think that Airbnb became so huge, partially because of its affordability, but also because it allows people to live like locals, and people really love that. What we've learned through the house sitting is that Airbnb is kind of like a stepping stone in between. So the hotel is at one level, there's Airbnb, but they tend to be in kind of the touristy areas often where people want to travel. The house sitting is totally different. We're going to the dog park, where in places where hotels might not even exist. So we are constantly weighing out, do we want to stay in like that maybe cookie cutter hotel like you mentioned, or a home? It's a very different experience. So what we've learned is that we like a combination. And
we stay in plenty of cookie cutter hotels. So that's too, so that we don't want to be disparaging.
Yeah, we love
hotels.
those too.
So we use points and miles to stay in plenty of hotels.
And that's when we're going to be doing those long travel days. So in Munich, for example, we did stay at a great hotel there with a nice redemption, but that made sense because we were out for really long days.
Right. How have you used award travel to book your travels recently? I mean, you guys seem like you do an extensive amount of traveling. How does the points and miles really come into play here?
Well, I'll talk about we could talk about this for years. And as a matter of fact, we do talk about this for years on our YouTube channel. So please subscribe over there if this is something of interest. But I'm going to talk about a biggie. And we just got back this summer from a 63-day trip to Europe. We've never been able to take that kind of time, but this year we were, and it's really nice that we're retired because we mixed 5 weeks of quick travel through like 10 cities, kind of hustling in 5 weeks. And then we piggybacked a 4-week house sit in France. So it was kind of the best of both worlds. But how we hacked that, there were a couple things. First of all, our flight was canceled on the way over, which might not be a hack. And we were really disappointed because we arrived a full day late, but we ended up getting over $1,000 compensation for that because of an EU regulation. We didn't even know about it. And by the way, we were at Chicago O'Hare Airport where it happened.
We hope that all of our flights to Europe get canceled.
But the interesting thing about that Chicago cancellation is that we were in line rebooking tickets for the next day for hours and hours and many, many hours. Not a single person mentioned a peep of this. So I'm guessing that people don't know about that, but it's there's an EU regulation that gives you compensation if you apply for it. Like I said, we have a whole video. We used a service for it who took a cut, and it was worth every penny for us. However, that trip, so we first of all got $1,000 back. I'm not going to call that a travel hack because you can't plan for that. But we used our United points. We got a great redemption on those. And so we flew to Krakow, Poland, and then made our way back over those 63 days. We flew out of Zurich, and that was only taxes and fees, which were wiped out with a cashback credit card.
Awesome.
We stayed in 9 hotels. We stayed in 8 Airbnbs. Except for 2 nights, all of those were covered by either points and miles or by cashback.
Wipe away sort of stuff.
Exactly. So that was of all. We only paid for 2 nights out of pocket, and it made sense because it was a good cash rate. But that was, like I said, it was 23 nights at hotels, 9 hotels. So that was really nice. And then we also used our Chase Ultimate Rewards points to take. We usually don't use it for like stuff to do and activities, but we did because we found a good redemption in the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, and we did a nice walking tour in Prague.
Did you say how much the 63 days was, the total?
Yeah, the 63 days, the entire total out of pocket after you take out the $1,000 we got back after that's in there. It was not even $3,000.
And so in something else, when we talk about that's every penny we spent. So that's food, that's lodging, that's airfare, that's tours, that's every single penny so that we spent on the trip.
Yeah, how about you? I know that you have a lot up your sleeve.
Yeah, so a lot of our travel, I mean, I haven't paid for an airline ticket in well over 4 years. by utilizing these points and miles. But our most recent trips were pretty straightforward redemptions in the fact that we used American airline miles flying from Bangor over to Munich, which was 60,000 miles total and about $10 in taxes to get over to Munich. And when we got to Munich, we actually after our trip, we took a flight on Flying Blue over from Munich to Paris, which was $80 a person, which I redeemed cash back for. And then again, I used American airline miles to fly us home at 60,000 miles total and about $110 in taxes and fees. So we were very fortunate to find some saver availability on American Airlines to redeem those points on. And then as far as our stays, we're big Airbnb fans when we travel international for the fact we like a washer and dryer. It allows us to pack lighter, and we typically try to save money by cooking one meal inside per day, which Airbnb gives us that kitchen.
You're using a cashback card to wipe away the taxes, so that's the card that you charge your airfare on?
Because I earn my cash back on a variety of different credit cards, I'll typically book my travel on a card that gives me the most points or cash back. And then I'll just go back into my cash back fund, I call it, and redeem against those rewards. So I'm not purchasing a reward for less value or earning fewer points on those purchases. I'm just making sure I redeem against that reward with my cash back fund.
And your trip over that you just mentioned, that you said it was $10 in taxes and fees, that seems really low for an international trip, especially since I'm sure you were connecting from Bangor, Maine. I'm sure Bangor, Maine to Munich wasn't a direct flight. So how was it just that low naturally? Because that seems...
On the way over, we've been really fortunate to find the taxes and fees to be relatively low on our award flights over. The tickets back from Europe typically have the higher taxes and fees for us. So we've been very fortunate to find $5 international trips, or even $10 to $20 in taxes, depending on which partner you were to utilize. But for us, we've been very fortunate. We haven't seen the taxes and fees really increase on them.
I think that's actually super cool. So I might want to delve into that on another topic at some point, because we're not finding these low taxes and fees on international travel.
And you're actually flying American Metal whenever the taxes are so low?
Yes. So we do typically fly American Metal. I do try to avoid British Airways at all cost, because even though they're partners, British Airways taxes and fees are just outrageous, and they really just erode any value you would get from your miles just due to those high taxes. And then as far as for Zurich, I was actually able to find 2 off-peak award on American Airlines. So I'm flying me and my buddy round trip total for 90,000 American airline miles and about $170 total in taxes and fees. It's great to see those off-peak awards for American Airlines, because it does give some extra value for those there. And because him and I don't actually live in the same area, I was actually able to link up the itineraries to where we meet in Philadelphia and fly on the same flight over to Zurich together. So It took a little bit of puzzle piecing together, but I was able to get that to work.
We were in Zurich briefly this last summer on our European trip. And so in Switzerland in general, it is crazy expensive in Switzerland. So I
was pennies.
Amazed at how expensive it was there.
Yeah, blow away expensive.
That's good information. Good.
Okay, our last big question today. What credit cards are you using to make all this happen?
So the credit cards that are currently in my wallet, right now for groceries and for dining, domestically, I'm using the American Express Gold Card that earns 4 points per dollar on all those purchases. For international dining, I'm actually using my Uber credit card, which earns 4% back. So that's a very big staple for me. As far as other credit cards, I'm big on the rotating 5% category credit cards. So I actually just utilized the US Bank Cash Plus credit card on furniture purchases, and I earned 5% back on all my furniture purchases recently.
Is there a category called furniture, or is what sort of category is that where you're getting 5%?
Yeah, so the US Bank Cash Plus is pretty interesting in the fact that you actually get to pick your 5% categories from like a list of them. You don't get to just freely pick, but there's a list, and furniture stores is actually on that, as well as like ride shares and a lot of other categories. So it's unique in the sense that it kind of gives you that customization for your 5% categories. The standard Discover It and Chase Freedom, I think a lot of people have just for those categories. But probably the one card that stays in my wallet and will stick in my wallet is the USAA Limitless card. And that actually earns me 2.5% cash back on all my purchases. So that's a pretty fantastic return that comes with no annual fee and has no foreign transaction fees, and actually chip and pin as well, which has been huge for us to use in Europe.
You have to have military connections to have that card?
Yeah, so my dad was in the military, so I'm a military brat. So I was able to get access through USAA. I've been banking with them for probably 15 years now. So when that card came out, I was able to get my way into getting that card. So what about you? What credit cards are you using for your travel hacking?
I have 3 brand new cards that I've just signed up for that I'm working on meeting the minimum spend for. So they're at the top of my wallet right now. So we have the Citibank Premier card. It had a 60,000 point promotion and no annual fee for the first year. So I'm looking to have that. So I don't have any thank you points today. So that's a nice card to add to sort of our arsenal of points. So with this card, we'll have Ultimate Reward points. We'll have from Chase Ultimate Reward points. We'll have American Express membership reward points, and now we'll have thank you. So all of the transferable programs will have some points in. So that makes it so that we have a lot of ground covered for anything that comes up when it comes to value with points and miles. And then when I traveled for business, I stayed pretty much exclusively at Marriott properties. And so I have an SPG, I had an SPG card that I subsequently upgraded to the SPG Luxury.
Okay.
Which isn't necessarily a card that I'd recommend for most people, but for just an upgrade, I got a 100,000 point bonus. And so
it's an expensive card, though.
It is an expensive card. So it's $450 a year.
But it did make sense for us.
It made sense for us. So you get $300 in Marriott travel credit back. And so that we'll use that. So that makes it only $150. So the way I see it, I paid $150 to have 100,000 Marriott points. And then I also just signed up for IHG. So I have the IHG Premier card, and that's another 100,000 point promotion. And so I think I did have to pay the annual fee on that card with that promotion, but I have 100,000 IHG points. And we already have the other IHG card. And so we have a nice collection of those points in the bank. It also gives you an annual free night. So I'm working towards those 3. I think it's $11,000 worth of minimum spend I've got to meet. And I think I've got 120 days to do it. So anyway, this is a big spending season for us.
Yeah.
For many reasons, we have insurance bills that are due and other things. So it shouldn't be a problem to meet the 11.
No, hey, use your spend to an advantage to earn those points for your free travel. How often do you open credit cards?
I think it's been, so I keep track of everything, but I think it's been over a year since I've opened any new cards. And Amy wants to get I want us to get the companion pass.
Amy wants.
So we're probably going to open up before the end of the year. We're probably going to open up 2 Chase Southwest cards to hopefully get the companion pass. That's
a great perk, especially considering the fact Southwest is going to be flying to Hawaii. I think I was reading they want to start flights in early 2019.
Yeah, so it's been all year. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I heard recently that they are planning to allow booking before the end of the year, and then flights won't start until 2019.
No, I read that as well. I think that's going to get a lot of people excited for that, and you're going to see a lot of people. I think they're going to see a huge spike in people applying for that companion pass. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that companion pass for program change potentially later on in the year.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are waiting for a good bonus redemption for those cards to consider applying.
Not redemption, a good bonus offer.
A good bonus offer. So right now
I think right now there's a 60,000 point bonus on the business card.
For the business, that's right.
Which is fantastic. I mean, I don't think it's gotten much higher than that in the past, maybe targeted offers. So you're just waiting for that personal card to kind of tip upward. So
yeah, that way we don't have to spend so much.
Then we have another $3,000 to spend. So 50, anyway, the numbers are creeping up there. So
we'll make it work. We always do.
We always do.
It was awesome chatting with you today, Dustin.
Oh, it's great talking with both of you. This is fantastic.
We could, as we've said many times, we could talk for hours and hours and hours. This points and miles stuff is so wide and deep. There's 1,000 topics. And so,
I feel I could talk on this for hours on end, and it's nonstop. I'm pretty sure my wife hears it more than she'd like to hear about it, but it's just a fascinating topic. I'm very passionate about it, and it's just great to have our audiences be able to see your take on how you travel, especially so frugally, living on $36,000 a year, and how you utilize house sitting as one of your main lodging to really reduce that cost. That's quite interesting.
Thanks. It's completely changed our life. And so we're going to be chatting about travel hacking, the kind of things that came up in this video. We're going to be chatting about that 1 time a month. Tim takes over on that. And then the house sitting, I chat about that 1 time a month also. Our videos come out every Wednesday. So hopefully you will subscribe to that channel, and also to Dustin's Waller's Wallet, and get updates from all of us.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you both. It was great. It was great talking with both of you.
And let me know in the comments below what you think of this collaboration, and if you'd like to see more of these collaborations in the future as well.
So the question of the day is, have you ever thought about or have you tried using house sitting as a way to reduce your travel cost? Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in today. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, or if you know somebody might benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. Remember, I post new videos every Thursday, so if you like learning about credit cards, points, miles, cashback, or just flat out traveling for less, consider hitting the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Safe travels and take care.